want you to imagine a pharmacy for a second. But instead of shelves filled with bottles, they're packed with roots, leaves, and flowers. A living library of medicine that's been around for literally thousands of years. While this isn't science fiction, this is the reality of India's incredible heritage of medicinal plants. And we're going to dive right in. So to really wrap your head around the sheer scale of this, let's start with just one number. 6,000. That's roughly how many different plant species are used for medicinal purposes in India. It's an absolutely staggering figure, and it makes the country one of the most important hubs for natural medicine on the entire planet. And look, this isn't some recent trend. This massive body of knowledge is deeply, deeply rooted in ancient, really sophisticated systems of traditional medicine. You've probably heard of them, like Ayurveda, Siddha, and Unani. These aren't just old folk remedies. We're talking about structured medical philosophies that have been tested and refined over centuries. But okay, what does 6,000 plants actually look like in practice? It's kind of hard to picture, right? So let's make it real. Let's meet some of the all-stars of this living pharmacy. These are plants that really bridge that gap between ancient wisdom and modern medicine. First up, let's talk about Sarpagandha. It's sometimes called the calming root, which is a pretty great nickname. You find it in the sub-Himalayan regions and the Western Ghats. And this plant, well, it holds some powerful secrets in its roots. And here's where it gets really interesting, where that ancient knowledge lines up perfectly with modern science. Its roots have this alkaloid called reserpine. Turns out it's a total game changer for lowering blood pressure. It's also used as a sedative for anxiety and even to treat things like dysentery. This is ancient wisdom 100% validated by modern pharmacology. Next, let's move on to a tree that is just a cornerstone of daily life in India, Neem. It's often called the village guardian, and for a very good reason. It's unbelievably versatile and has all these protective qualities. I mean, the sheer number of uses for this plant is just incredible. For generations, people have used neem oil as a safe, eco-friendly insecticide. It has powerful antibacterial properties, and today, it's being used in biofuels and even in industrial-strength hospital detergents. It's basically the Swiss Army knife of the plant world. All right, now for something you probably didn't see coming. When you think of medicine, I'm guessing carnivorous plants don't exactly jump to mind. But in India, believe it or not, even insect-eating plants have earned a spot in the traditional pharmacy. The depth of this knowledge just blows my mind. You've got Drosera, the sundew, being used to treat blisters. The fluid inside the Nepenthes pitcher plant, that's used as a treatment for cholera and even as eye drops. And Urticaria, the bladderwort, is used for coughs and to dress wounds. It's just an amazing example of how value was found in the most unexpected corners of nature. But here's the thing. This incredible natural and cultural heritage, it's not guaranteed to last forever. It's actually facing a really serious fight for its own survival, and the threats are coming from our modern world. So the threats are really coming from two main directions. You've got the physical side of things, habitat destruction, pollution, and the over-harvesting of these plants, often for the global market. But then there's this other, sneakier threat, biopiracy. And that's basically the theft of this ancient community-owned knowledge. Which brings us to a really fundamental question, one that gets pretty complicated. Can you actually patent a tradition? Should a foreign company be able to claim legal ownership over knowledge that's been in the public domain for hundreds, if not thousands of years? This was the exact question at the heart of a huge legal battle. So let's break down the battle for neem. First, a U.S. company got a patent for the fungicidal properties of the neem tree. Immediately, India challenged it. They argued that this wasn't a new invention at all, but what's known in patent law as prior art. They basically proved this knowledge was already out there and being used long before the patent was ever filed. And the result? In a landmark decision, the patent was completely overturned. It was a massive win against biopiracy. So, given these threats, how is this precious resource being protected today? Well, the answer is this really fascinating mix of ancient traditions and some seriously cutting-edge modern tech. You see, the conservation effort is happening on two fronts. On the traditional side, you have these incredible concepts like sacred groves. These are forests protected by local communities, and they've acted as natural gene banks for centuries. And then on the modern side, you have high-tech stuff like the National Gene Bank and a really clever digital defense called the TKDL, which protects the knowledge itself. The TKDL, which stands for the Traditional Knowledge Digital Library, is just a brilliant modern solution. It's a huge database that documents all of India's traditional medicinal knowledge, translating it into multiple languages and patent-friendly formats. So now when a patent examiner anywhere in the world looks at an application, they can just check the TKDL and see if it's already known, stopping biopiracy in its tracks. And we really have to remember the depth of what's being protected here. The TKDL is pretty much the 21st century guard for the knowledge held in ancient texts, like the Charaka Samhita. This was an incredible encyclopedia of Indian medicine that thousands of years ago was already detailing how to use plants to treat everything from fevers to leprosy. At the end of the day, all of these efforts, from the local communities guarding those sacred groves to the digital architects building the TKDL, they all share one common goal: to make sure that this unbelievable living pharmacy, this gift of nature and heritage, can keep on serving all of humanity for generations to come. Which kind of leaves us with this final thought to chew on. As our world gets more and more connected through technology and globalization, the story of India's medicinal plants really forces us to ask a big question. In our fast-paced modern world, what is our responsibility, and what are the best tools we have to protect and truly honor ancient wisdom?